Good morning, good morning, good morning. What a beautiful early Sunday morning. This is Spirit Journey, and today is October 4th, 2020, and the time is 6:58 a.m. I've been up close to 2 hours. Yeah, but I've been out of bed, for the past half hour or so. Yeah, I want to get these dreams down and just to get off my chest. And these dreams is probably just when if you go to sleep kind of edgy, whatever. You know, I find with me if I don't take a nice hot shower before bed, like if I go out a lot of go out, had a lot of interactions, it's better for me to take a shower before bed. It just dispels a lot of the negative energy that you might have accumulated. I know it sounds kind of weird to say it like that, but yeah, it sometimes you accumulate energies on you and you just need to clear it. So I think in part that's what happened and why I had the types of dreams that I did have. I actually just remember one dream, and that's what I want to talk about. And it led into that phenomenon when I wake up from sleep, a deep sleep, or dreaming, that I usually see something like I awaken, but I keep my eyes closed and I just relax. And oftentimes I see something. So I saw something today. Okay, sorry for the camera. And I want to also talk about, yeah, before I went to bed, I did watch a video on the history of the Democratic Party. And just my quick thoughts and in relationship to the Republican Party. Okay, so the dream that I had, I was back in my parents' old house. We're in the room where we used to watch television and had two of my younger siblings with me. And they were younger. Sometimes in my dream, most of the times when I'm dreaming about family members, they usually the age that from way back, like when are in our 20s, something like our early 20s. So two of them were there in the room with me, and I'm looking out the window. But at the window, like we were ground level, but I was able to see kind of like above the roofs of the houses across the street from us. And when I looked and saw this, I saw the ocean. It was an ocean, large body of water. It was very gray, and it was daytime. But yeah, it was daytime. But I think it seemed very hazy outside. Yes, good morning, viewer. Good morning. Just talk about the dream that I had. Yeah, welcome. Welcome in the chat room. So, what happened? As I'm looking out the window and see this large body of water, I also see a fleet of naval ships. They were all gray in color, very gray. And I remember saying to myself mentally, oh, I better get my camera or something, show that this is something. It was a whole fleet of ships, warships. Looked like warships, they were naval ships. And and then as I continued looking, the water rose up, and it was a giant, giant wave, that the battleships were coming. Yeah, I was looking southeastward, and there's no way in real life that you could see this body of water. This is out in Long Island. Yeah, actually in Queens, but on the island. But you can't see any water in that position. It's farther out. But either way, and the water rose, and it was above the roof of the houses that were across the street, and the fear that hit me. And then the water went over our houses, including the house I was in. And I remember the fear I had, and when it went over, I looked around in the room at the windows because I'm thinking, this thing, the water could seep in. Yeah, good morning, Camp. Good morning. I'm just going to do a quick video. Yeah, it's good to hear from you. And I remember the fear that I had, and I, I was like in a panicky state because I thought, when this water went over us, it was like a tidal wave or a tsunami. Um, it's going to break everything. And then I awakened. Then, almost immediately after the dream, and again, as I tell you guys, I keep my eyes closed and just relax my body after I awaken from dreaming or sleeping. And I saw something else. I saw an image. I saw something, my vision. I was seeing a room. Um, it sort of looked familiar. Um, it sort of looked like one of the rooms. It's rooms from my childhood. Kind of reminded me, and then it reminded me of the room where we did our laundry. The room had it looked like a wallpaper, very white background, and then it had a small pattern that repeated itself. I couldn't tell what the pattern was. It was a small pattern, but the dominant of the pattern was, plain white, very bright white. And then, and I'm like looking in the room, I'm seeing the room. I don't recall any furniture or anything like that. But then I see a shadow cast against the wall to the right of my vision. And then at that point, everything got hazy. Yeah, many of the visions that I've been having for this year has been very grainy, very hazy. You can't see any clarity. That's for whatever reason, and I'm wondering whether it's because of any interference, like um, a lot of electromagnetic equipment might be on. I think that could interfere with what you see and how, clarity. It's like a radio, and you're in between stations and it's not clear. But once that other interference is gone, maybe two channels competing for the same wave, so it could cause interference. And that's how I see it with these visions, that some type of interference, and that's why I cannot see clearly. But if any of you have any suggestions why uh, the visions aren't clear but very grainy, very hazy, let me know in the chat room or in the comments below when this live stream um, um, finish uploading. So again, I saw the shadow cast against the wall, and everything got very grainy, very hazy. And then I noticed like things coming towards where I'm seeing, as if I'm physically there, it would be as if they're coming towards me. and they looked like, to me, they looked like ants or some type of thing like that. Had long arms. Um, yeah, it looked like insects. To be honest, I'm being honest. I know it's really weird, but I've seen in past visions, you know, creatures or insects, and they look like giant, at least in my perspective, and it seemed like they were all about me. That they were coming towards me. Because the only thing I see now is just textures, very hazy. Can't no defined shapes, whatever. But you just see like a scribble scrabble of things in my uh, upon my vision, and it's as if they're trying to scratch me or grab me. Something. It's really weird. I don't. I never hear anything, and I don't feel anything. Everything is just. I'm sorry. Just visual. No audibles, and nothing tactile. You can't feel anything. Thank God you can't. I think if I felt anything, uh, or heard anything, I probably would get really, scream or something. But this is just something visual, and again, it's not clear what I'm seeing. And so I did open my eyes, and then I closed them. And when I closed them, it resumed back to where I was in the vision of the thing that was happening. And it wouldn't go away like usually if I did open my eyes or something like that and just try to shake myself out of it and then try to go back to sleep or just close my eyes, I would see something else. So that's yeah, I couldn't get rid of that vision. It just seemed to resume, and again it was very hazy and no clarity, but you get this sense, the idea is the same thing happening. And so that's all that I saw. So now I want to talk about this Democrat. I saw a documentary, a movie about the history of the Democrat Party. And basically, basically what the documentary was saying, or the documentary was made by this guy who was arrested upon doing uh, like a like a story about uh, the Obama, the when Obama was president, and they didn't like it, and so they had him arrested for get that he it was some election. His friend, he had a female friend that was running for some type of office, and he had given her money for her election. But the money was a little bit too much than what the law says. So I'm just going to make up a figure. Let's say the maximum amount of money uh, to give for an election is $1,000. Well, he gave more than 1,000. So for that, he was arrested and tried. He got a couple of months in some detention center and then 5 years probation. And he had to do community service and teach people how to speak and write in English. What else? Yeah, community service, teach people in the detention service how to speak English. That's all I remember. It was really just to harass him. Well, he did his time, and he did this movie, this documentary about the Democrat Party, the history of it. I thought it was interesting. Um, basically it said like initially it seemed like a hybrid of at least the term that they call themselves. It was a hybrid of the word like Democrat, Republican, or something like that, and then it split into two distinct groups: Republicans and Democrat. And the Democrat took popularity in the South. And they mentioned that initially they said that Abraham Lincoln was a Republican. And many of the blacks that remained in the South after slavery ended, after the Civil War, were Republicans. And I think they helped form the Republican Party. But that aspect I'm not 100% sure on, if I remember it accurately. But either way, um, the blacks in the South uh, had political power, but again they were outnumbered, and slowly they lost momentum. They were being intimidated by um, they were they were their houses were being broken into, and it was a lynching party going on that they had. I think they said that the Democrats under the Ku Klux Klan was like the police force for the Democratic Party of the South, and they would go and kill blacks and white Republicans. And that's how it kind of started. And so, with the intimidation and the threat of death, the blacks changed their party to the Democrat Party to stay alive. But my question in all this, okay, fast forward to modern times. You have now I never been a member of the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, never. I'm neutral. But this is my concern regarding the Republican Party. Now, the movie showed them as an innocent party that was, in history, voted for, um, like, let's say, women's right to vote, the 14th Amendment, the 13th Amendment, while the Democrat Party said no to all that. So, on surface, the Republican Party seemed very positive on paper. Now, I live in New York City. Now, New York City is heavily Democrat, but you do have Republicans here too. And this is my concern regarding the Republican, because now you have an election coming up in about 31 days. And now Trump is in the hospital. Uh, he's recuperating from COVID. Hopefully, he you know, pulls through with this condition. And now it's a real race for power between the two parties. Both want to dominate. And now you have the Republicans want to keep in power, and now is having movies like this about the history of the Democrat Party. And I mean, I don't come from the South, but I'm wondering if this is the case with the South and the Democrat Party, why don't black people know this history? Why don't they know they were Republicans? Why didn't they share this information with their children and with you know their progenies? This is very important because no matter what party you belong to, you must teach your children their history. Whether or not you have a Klansman or whatever who's out, you got to teach your kids. I mean, what you teach in the privacy in your own home, No one's not going to know what you teach, but you got to tell them in private. So I think that was an important issue in all this, and what to prevent in the future so you don't get used again. Because I see that, I feel that both political parties really don't care about Black America. But this is the first time in my known history, my lifetime, that a Republican or someone, someone like President Trump, to want to initiate a policy to improve the status or the livelihood of the Black American. I think they call it the platinum something, but it's a promise that he wants to have for us, um, as a means for us to support his presidency, his upcoming election. I should say re-election. So even in the past, even with the um, Democratic Party in the 1960s, even um, they they promised a little something, a little bargaining tool, and then after that, boom, you know. Um, so history should tell us that we are very valuable in this country. We are valuable when it comes to um, government. We really don't realize how powerful we are. Now, Black America is no longer the largest minority group. I hate the term minority, but we all know what the term means. So that's why I use it. Um, we're not the largest minority group, but you have others. And I'm wondering, if we're no longer the largest minority group, why are we being focused on politically in this election and not the new largest minority group? Why aren't they being pandered, pandering? Why aren't they being pandered? Is a big question. Well, maybe they might be the new largest minority group, but and they're supposed to have more money. Collectively, they have more money than Black America. Um, but perhaps they may not be legal. They might have been more numerous. Let's see. Europeans' numbers are dwindling. RT News said they would be the minority by 2047. Okay, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, probably so. But they'll have a lot of clout, I think. Um, yeah, very, very good point. Yeah, also in history, not necessarily American history, but let's say the country of the Republic of South Africa. Whites were the minority in South Africa, but they had all the political parties. So quantity or being a majority status is not where the power is. The power is in weaponry. The whites in the South, in America, um, they had guns, and yes, they did outnumber blacks also. I think if the Republicans in the United States, if they were really in favor of protecting black status in the South, they would have equipped every black home with a weapon. Because again, weapons speak. And here, Black America fought in the Civil War and proved their loyalty to white North America, white of the northern states. But we were abandoned, at least the blacks that were living in America in those days, they were abandoned by the Republican Party. And so this is where my concern is. My concern is, are we going to again be abandoned by the Republican parties? That once they get our vote and win the seats that they want to sit in, are they going to leave us for the vultures? Now, we had Republican presidents. Uh, when I was just turning of age, um, when Ronald Reagan became president, he was not a friend of the black man or woman. And if you check his legacy, he was against the Black Power movement. And remember, I think it was Angela Davis. He wanted her arrested. It was the FBI warrant for her arrest. You know, and I thought Reagan was a wicked person. I really didn't know politics. But that was the sentiment. Like I was 17 years old when he won the nomination, and 18 when he sat in office in January. Um, but I never thought, I was afraid of him, Reagan. He was a Republican. And the sentiment in New York City, Republicans were bad people. They, I felt very emotionally removed from them. There was no connection. There was no love or any policy to extend to Black America. We were totally alienated from the Republican Party. So if the Republican Party was the initial party of Black America, why this, by behavior, why the negative sentiment towards Black America? And these are very, very important questions as Black Americans have to talk about. You have to ask these questions, and they have to give you a good answer, the Republican Party. Now, I basically kind of, if I had to choose a party, my leanings is more towards the Republican Party, to be honest. Um, but I know in my heart, see, it's not the political party that Black America belongs to that matters. What matters is that you are a Black person. And that's what's being targeted. What's being targeted is your continuity. To not even be able to teach your children that, hey, we were Republicans first. And then the Republicans abandon us. Or that, hey, we only became Democrats because we were being lynched and coerced to vote Democrat. You know, you need something that's going to empower you as a group. Because, see, anybody who gets into office, they never seem to have a policy for you. But again, I heard recently Trump has what he called the platinum something. If viewer, if you know what that term was, the platinum something, could you write it down in the chat room exactly what it's called, the policy? I don't know whether he um, put it out there in the on the internet. I mean, whether it's actually written down what this new policy is. But I would say in comparing the, post right, the antebellum era, right after the Civil War, and now, what is missing? What else is missing for our continuity of power? Land, land, land. Platinum plan. Okay, thank you, Camp. Thank you. Platinum plan. Yeah, is it does he have is it devised now? I mean, is it written out or he still has to devise it yet? Let me know if it's something that you could whether it's on the internet, what that platinum plan is. I'm sorry, my voice is going. Sorry. So, land is something that is essential for the continuity of Black America. Black America was initially given land in the South, but then it was taken away. Okay, and the Republican Party did not uh, enforce this land keeping, or they could at least designate land for you. If it wasn't the land of the former oppressors, slave owners, have a separate piece of land and allot it that land. That would have been an easy solution. Okay, but that wasn't done, and I'm pretty sure that the Republicans knew what was going on. And you had many blacks who left the South over a period of, I think, over 80 years and moved up north. But what happened up north? Racism. You have states like Nebraska. I think Malcolm X is from Nebraska. There's hardly any black folk there, and they didn't have slavery in Nebraska. It was a new state, but you had the Ku Klux Klan that was formed there. So why did they bring it up north? And why didn't white America of the northern states and the white Republicans of the northern states, why didn't they set up places, safe places where blacks could live up north in safety? Again, we help win their war, the Civil War for them. So why? See again, we're being used. I'm afraid that we're going to be used again, and I don't like that. So here we fight in the war, and many blacks died in the Civil War. And again, um, the what do you call it? The armies were segregated. So why did the Republican North segregate blacks from whites? If they love us so much, if the Republicans love us so much, why did they set up segregated armies upon us? Because it's how they really feel. So being a Republican alone does not make them your friend. And it seems clear to me that the Republican Party is again for their use, and they had their own agenda as it pertains to American policies. It didn't really include black continuity, uh, personal excellence, education. Uh, it didn't stand behind us to keep it. So we're being used in their warfare. We fought in every war that America had, in every war, and we fight with all we got. And when we leave the military, many of us become homeless. We become homeless. I live in New York City, and many of the people that you see in New York City living on the street are veterans, especially veterans from the Vietnam era in particular. I don't understand why that war had such negative impact on both black and white America who served in the military. but it was a dirty war, and it caused a lot of mental illness when those soldiers came back. And we're still fighting in wars now. And then we come home, and we come home to uh, lack of employment, lack of services, or insufficient services for the black veterans when they come back home. They're forced back on the street. They're forced to to deal in drugs. So, I'm saying this because I'm trying to put pieces together. And this is an important year for all Americans, but this is a pivotal year for Black America. Pivotal because if it doesn't get corrected now, it's not going to be corrected at all. Okay? This is extremely important for all America, especially the Black American. So this homelessness, and now the surge of drug abuse. Yeah, recently there's been an increased evidence of drug dealing, drug addicts. I go outside near where I live, and you have new people congregating on the corners, and they're doing their marijuana. You could smell the marijuana. That's what I smell, the marijuana. But they're doing it openly now. I'm not sure whether marijuana is legal to smoke. I mean, they have these marijuana trucks. They sell candies and cake looking stuff, like Rice Krispie cake, and they put the marijuana in it, lollipops with the marijuana in it, all throughout 7th Avenue in Manhattan, like in the 30s and 40s, the streets, 30th, 40th streets. So I don't know how legal it is, whether you can actually just smoke it, smoke a joint. But either way, it's more drug use, and it's getting really gamey where I live. So what's happening? How are they going to help? I mean, we have to help ourselves. As Black folks, we have to help ourselves. And I think the first thing we have to help ourselves is we have to educate ourselves. We have libraries, we have the internet where you could uh, get literature to read. That's the first thing. We have to learn how to read. And we have to communicate with each other. We're behind our devices, our phones and Androids, things like that. We're on them all day, entertaining ourselves, but we're not really talking to ourselves to find out what we can do. We're spending our money on drugs. We're spending our money on beauty, our hair and nails. That's the ladies primarily. The guys are just doing the drugs, the pornography, and video games. This is not edifying for anybody's mind. So you need to improve your mind. And then as for the political parties, uh, again, we're essential. We are the tipping scale of America, all America. We are usually the deciding factor who gets into office. And with that power, and again, we're no longer the largest minority group. We're the second largest minority group, not the first. And the first largest minority group are doing better financially, but they're not being pandered to, as I mentioned earlier. So I think the leaders in each community should have its leaders, black leaders. And don't listen to the black church. The movie did discuss about the black church that the pastors of the black church were used to persuade blacks to vote Democrat and to keep us being the happy Negro, the religious Negro, and this Jesus that somehow helps white America but doesn't help black America. And then they say, well, in heaven when you die and go to heaven or something like that, you'll get your fair share. No, don't believe that lie. So God is going to give white people on this earth and in heaven a good life, but He's only going to share you half of your life, only in heaven. These are lies. These are trickeries, in my opinion. Again, if this Jesus helps you, or whatever religious system you belong to, if it serves you, then you serve it. If it serves you, you serve it. But Christianity, Islam, primarily, are not serving you. It's not serving you, and it's keeping you in bondage. Islam, throughout the world, where blacks are, especially in the Arab-speaking world, they are persecuting you. So even though you might be an African, a black African, who is Islamic, they treat you differently. So they don't treat all Muslims. They don't treat all Muslims the same. If you're a black Muslim, you considered beneath them. And I suggest that the black world who practices Islam should really reevaluate your religion, because when you go to Mecca and all that, you're not treated the same. The Saudi Arabia and the Arabian Peninsula enslaves blacks. They also have a hatred for people from South Asia. They use your muscles, your body. They exploit your labor. So I find, okay, so in a nutshell, Islam and Christianity basically exploits your labor for the past 500 years, since the turn of the century and the formation of Islam. Islam came after Christianity. It was that started, what was that, in the year 900 around, or something somewhere around there. So it was really never your friend. It Islam and Christianity are just extensions of each other, just different polarities, but it's it seems to have proven itself to be a faith system, not a truth system, but a faith system that stigmatizes you being an indigenous man and woman. These Abrahamic religions, yeah, I didn't mean for this video to turn into this direction. Again, I don't want to bash anyone's religion. If it serves you, you serve it. But I'm just really speaking to a black audience, or an African or black African audience, or even a South Asian audience, people of color, darker skin races on this planet. Oh, okay. I'm glad you're enjoying my voice. Yeah, but I want you to know that how people are using your energy. They're using your money in religion. They always have the up and up upon you, and you happily serve their religion. you serve their political parties, and then you're finding out that it seems like in the end, you are the determining factor in the government. So how come you don't have any stronger representation in this governmental system here and abroad? Religion is a government also. Religion is a political party because it dictates and governs every aspect of your life, especially Islam. So, what is it, Black America, or the melanated, heavily melanated world? Where are you? Where do you fit in all this? Are you taking you? They're taking you for granted. That's what I'm feeling, and that's also why I'm doing this video, because I feel that you're being taken for granted. You're being taken for granted. They say, join our religion, join our political parties, um, and we do it wholeheartedly. We go to church the longest. I used to be a churchgoer. I used to be a Christian, a what they call a born again Christian. I was I was immersed in it, but I saw things, and I saw the politics, and I saw that religion was just another organization, and it had nothing to do with God. And so, with that in mind, you have to be concerned where your money goes. See, they create all these institutions for you to belong to take your power. Church or the temple or whatever, these religious institutions, they take your money. And what do they do with that money? Well, they strengthen their stronghold over you. That's what they do. They fix up their neighborhoods. Look in white neighborhoods and look where their churches are, what their churches look like. They only got maybe one church in a whole, several miles away. But you go in a black neighborhood and the churches right next to each other, multiple churches on the storefronts. Black neighborhoods in the urban north is saturated with bodies and bodies of churches. They don't add to the community, and usually when you see these churches, it's economic poverty. A lot of pregnant girls. Now, how can these religious? Why are these women fornicating and becoming pregnant when their religious says, that you are to be married before this type of activity, right? I mean, what you do to your body is your business. But I'm just stressing. Your religion says of a particular conduct of behavior, but you're not following it. So are you going to go to hell? Well, they're allowing it in the black community. They are allowing it. And they are allowing the, what do you call it, Planned Parenthood. And Planned Parenthood was also formulated by the Democratic Party or people who are in the Democratic Party. It was an organization designed to remove the social uh, undesirables. Black people were considered undesirables. And they used the ministers to promote this organization, Planned Parenthood, in their neighborhood. And it also said in the documentary that they sold the body parts of the babies that were aborted. This is black crime, black on black crime. When that woman goes to an abortion clinic and demands an abortion, she is committing genocide upon her own race. She is showing self-hate by using abortion as a means of what do you call it? Birth control. Abortion is not birth control. Using the pill, using a condom, and other devices is a form of birth control. But to murder your baby as a birth control option is insane and a perversion. And so when you spill blood, see, blood cries out, is a curse on that neighborhood. Don't you notice in these neighborhoods, it's like a social decay over it? Just take a look. I'm not making it up. I'm not making it up. I was raised in a black neighborhood in New York City, in Queens, New York. A lot of storefronts. I mean, I lived in where there was a lot of houses, but there was an area where the shopping district, the storefronts on the main road, and tons of churches. I personally never seen an abortion clinic. Personally, I want to be honest with that. I never physically saw an abortion clinic, but they're there. And you know what else is in the black community? When you enlist to go in the military, what do you call those places? Yeah, you areas where you can go enlist in the military. They are in the black neighborhood, in the business district. They're not in the white neighborhoods. Where white people live in New York City, they're not there. They're not there. They're in poor neighborhoods. So again, they're exploiting and keeping you poor so that uh, the options of going into the military increases. So it increases the number of enlistees from black communities. Yeah, a lot of black, when I was in the military, and again, I was in the military, in the Navy, and we make up just a small percentage. I mean, in the United States, what's that? 13% or 8%, maybe 13 or 11% of the population, but we make up a very large number in the military. Why is that? This is by design. So again, just like in the Arab world, just Google Saudi Arabia or countries in the Arabian Peninsula, and look who seems to be serving as a military or the guards for the king and the princes of Saudi Arabia and the vicinity. Black people. These giant black people. They're real, real, real tall. And they're slim. I don't know who they are. I think they're from East Africa. But yeah, just look. Just look. Look who work in the, what do you call it? They have large shopping malls in the Arab world, in the Arabian Peninsula. That's who they have working in there. So again, using you as a military force to for what's the word I'm thinking? To keep you in check. So they're there to enforce the Islamic code, but you don't control it. I mean, you're just like the brown, like Nazi Germany. They had what was called the brown shirts. They actually had brown shirts. These weren't black people. These were white people, Germans, and they had them wear brown shirts. And this was the police force of the Nazi Party originally. These were the regular people. These weren't the wealthy Germans. And the SS got formed. The SS was the white elites of Germany. And the SS had the brown shirts exterminated. Yeah, so again, color coding and removing the socially undesirable brown shirts from their government, even though they helped put them in power by securing their powers. So just like the security guards in the Arab speaking world are being utilized to enforce as a police force but it's not securing your position in that country. Same as being a black person and working in the military or as a security guard in the urban centers is not securing your position, but they're using your position to even oppress your own community. That is what's happening. That's what I see. Yeah, I just want to get a little water. Wait a minute. My voice is going. I have some water here. Sorry about that. Yeah, I needed that. My voice. I'm sorry about that. My voice was going. So, yeah, you have to start thinking, people, about what's really going on. This is a very, very pivotal time for all Black America and all Blacks around the world. You are, I think, a focal point on the planet. You are envied around the planet, and you are hated also. They love your strength. They love your color, actually. They love that you can get your hair many hairstyles. They love that you can stay young looking longer and you're stronger. And we tend to be more spiritually minded. But there's a war out for you on the planet, in my opinion. They are attacking your home. They're putting propaganda to make you hate your own kind. Like men are being taught to not be attracted to their black women, and black women are being taught that the black man doesn't want you, that you're ugly, things like that. And so it's decreasing our number of black couples having black children. People are, again, who you marry and who you date and who you have babies with is your business. But I'm just showing a pattern that's happening. And these are, in my opinion, tools of how they are trying to destroy you, destroy your numbers by having you marry outside of your group, um, having children with other races, and those uh, biracial kids lose their, get confused racially. You know, they have to confuse their racial identity so that they no longer want to consider themselves black or want to be associated with black people. Again, this is a means of keeping our power weak because then we're not working together as a group because everybody wants to be everything else but being black. So it's infighting. You have gangs and people killing each other. Black people are primarily killing black people. You have people in gangs, and the gangs are killing each other. You know what? I mean, I've never belonged to a gang, never. And but I'll challenge those people who do belong to gangs. So you don't have to even tell me or anybody else what gang you belong to. But I tell you this. I ask you this to do honestly. To do honestly, you do it behind closed, do it in private. Don't let people know. But investigate, do research on the gang you belong to. Just 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 find out. Whatever what gang you belong to, find out who belongs to it. And I bet you that those gangs belong to some of the major parties. Yeah, they're not just an organic thing, they're being sponsored by somebody high up. And they're utilizing you as the police, like in Nazi Germany, they had the brown shirts. The gangs are being used like the brown shirts to be used as a terrorist tool to terrorize your black community. That's what they're there for. So you don't have the Ku Klux Klan in your black neighborhood, but you have the gangs. What are the gangs doing? What's it? What? Tell me, please tell me again, black folk, or anybody, any race who's listened to this. Tell me the truth. Does it make a difference whether you get killed by a gunshot or a noose around your neck? In the end, it is to kill you and to intimidate the people who witness these killings. They kill in front of children, little kids. It's to put you in fear. These little kids in fear make them feel powerless. Find out who belongs to these gangs that you belong to, and the gangs in prison. I heard about. I heard there are gangs in prison. How do you figure that if you're being there as a punishment? So how could you have that entity in the prisons where they're there? They're like viruses. They follow you everywhere. They follow you in prison. They follow you when you're out of prison. But in the end, you and your community is being exploited and controlled. They create music, and the music is of negativity. They tell you, they say bad things about your women. You say bad things about yourselves. So this is social brainwashing, people. They are socially brainwashing you to kill yourself. You don't need the Klansmen anymore in the North because you got the hip hoppers and the gangbangers. They are your Ku Klux Klan, but they're just blackface, and you fall for it. And you go in the military. Yes, some of us do well in the military, okay? But when you come out, the average black dude, when they come out and go back to their urban neighborhoods in New York City, they don't do well. And about 2 years ago, or approaching 2 years ago, I wrote a letter to our President Donald J. Trump. I wrote a letter about the condition of the blacks, veterans. When we finish the military and we become civilians again, the problems that happened, and something has to be done, and some type of program. And I wrote down suggestions for him what could correct it. Okay. Now I did get a response from his office, but there weren't anything. It was like I think it was just a form letter. Like if the letter they see is from a veteran, they write like the veterans, thank you for serving, things like that. But he never addressed the many issues that I had, and his suggestions. Okay, so now election year is coming up, and these things have to be addressed. It has to be addressed because if it's not done now, that stronghold that is oppressing us is going to continue, and we're just going to perish as a group. We're going to perish. And that's what I'm afraid of. I see that we're being gobbled up, and not only do I think we're going, right now we're the second largest minority group. I think we're going to be the last. If the pattern continues, we are going to be the smallest minority group in America. And we're going to be everybody's punching bag. And I want it to stop. And we could stop it by demanding changes. I think every Black American home, Black American, should be issued land. Hey, hi, Libera. Yeah. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, I think every black citizen, especially those who have been here for many generations, you should get your land. Yeah, you should get your land. You were promised land, and the land was taken away. You should be given plots of land. You should be given special um, conditions to, um, things to assist you on your land, like to farm. Black people should, you should have your own food. So you get land and you produce your crop. You need your own food because Bill Gates and people like him are producing hybrid seeds that can genetically alter your genes and cause sickness in your body. Produce your own food, black people, black family. Produce your own food because that is the basics of life, to have your own garden and food. And they should assist you on your farms, give you strong land that is fertile. I meant to say, fertile land. You should be able to have your own uh, schools, learning institutions. Yeah, early America, post slavery, you had your own institutions. Well, you had your own schools. And people were educated. People loved, black people were intellectuals. But see, now what they're telling you, they're teaching you to hate black people that have money. You've heard the terms. They call them bougies, bourgeois, but it's said with contempt. So if you're an educated black man and educated black woman, you are despised in the black community, and then they harass you. Shouldn't an educated black man and woman be an encouragement for you to follow? But instead, many of you want to follow Miss Boom Boom Queen and Mr. Leroy, who's peddling his drugs. These are the new heroes. The drug dealer and Miss Twerker are the new queens. Look at, you just look at the new hip hop artists. And what do they look like? Start noticing what they look like, okay, and how they act, okay? See who they're promoting in the black community. Um, the newer people that they want to, the black intellectuals, and how they treat it. And then look at the mainstream blacks that they're promoting. Exactly, lower energies are imbalanced. Yes, they're low energies. Exactly, exactly, light bearer. Yeah, you have lower energy frequencies of these performers who are who they want to reward you for lack of excellence. And I'm not going to mention their names. You are smart people who watch my channel, and you can see who they are rewarding quickly with a lot of money. And they're placed there, people, deliberately to keep you at a low energy frequency. Yes, we need 432 hertz in sound. Yeah, I heard about that. Thank you for sharing that. I heard about that. Yeah, you need to get on the ball. You need to get on the ball. See through the deceit. I'm sharing all this information for you to see through the deceit. They are seducing you with the music videos. They're seducing the men by having women with these big boom booms, right? Doing these very sexual dances. Now, if you're behind closed doors with your own wife. You can do whatever what you want, okay, behind closed doors. But see, these are videos that sent out to the world. The world sees you, and America is seems to be the country that is, well, the Anglophone speaking world is very big, it's very vast, and it's being shared all over the world. So it influences a lot of people in Europe, in Africa, and Asia, and North America. People see this from all over the world, and they are having negative opinions about black people, black women. They're not seeing you as the professional. You started out as the professional and godly woman and godly men. We were godly spiritual people. Now we're acting low energy frequency, like the devil. We have a devilish um, mindset. We're having uh, a destructive mindset. You need to turn this around. Lay off of this bad video, the pornography that's plaguing also our neighborhoods. Leave it behind. Leave that. It's just to suck your energy. It's disgusting. It's filthy, and it's teaching you to disrespect women. You need the man and woman to be in harmony. You know what I challenge what you all should do? Black people are watching this, or anybody, you know, who's your mate? Hold hands when you go outside. Hold hands. Go to a nice park and just hold hands and look each other in the eyes and reconnect. We're not connected to each other because we're looking at this nasty pornography and these war games on you know, these video games. And our mind is becoming saturated with low energy frequency and filth. Transform your mind today. Transform. You can transform it. Go out there with your partner. Hold hands as you walk, or go arm in arm, and say, you know, I love you. Very few black people that I see here in New York City hold hands. You don't hold hands. You all look angry at each other. You look angry. But when you're holding hands with another race, you all look happy. Start noticing. Hold hands when you walk. And just make up something that sounds good. Say, I love you. Or what a beautiful day it is. It starts as small as that. And then it'll grow. And you start to find positive things to say. They don't they don't all by design. Yeah. And you're taught to do that. You're taught to, oh, you want to look cool. No, being loving to your mate, to your children, is what's going to keep us alive and strong and vibrant. You don't say that in public that you love your children. I used to go to this church, and to get to that church, I had to go through this particular neighborhood in Brooklyn, New York. It's a very impoverished neighborhood. And I stopped going to that church in part because I had to get through this neighborhood and watching the black women abuse their black children. Hate stuff is pushed upon us because they hate us so much. Yeah, exactly. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, this is what's happening. It's being done upon you, and then you just swallow it all up. So start noticing your behavior, and just start, say, today's Sunday. I tell you, this Sunday, you know, go to the park. Go, if you have a nice park, somewhere clean, somewhere positive, wear something nice. Bring your children and your husband or your boyfriend, whatever, who your partner is. Go out as a family. Maybe you could make little sandwiches, little cute little sandwiches. Get a beverage of your choice, non-alcoholic beverage, of course, and just get a blanket if it's warm to do so, and sit on the grass and just say something pleasant to one another. Even if you have to make it up then. Say something positive to one another. Say how beautiful the sky is or the plants. Just find something that's positive and say something positive. Hold hands when you walk, and you will reconnect, and our community will reconnect. We're loving people. We actually are. We're just being taught to hate ourselves. It's like we can forgive all these other races and ethnicities and groups of people, all these nationalities, but we're not forgiving ourselves. It's okay to forgive yourself. None of us are perfect. None of us. So take a hold of your life and regroup and start demanding. And as I was saying, with what should be done in our community, we need to re-educate ourselves. And we need to demand for this election year, if you have a community, a spokesperson in community, do a video, like a YouTube video, and collectively say, we demand this from our community, from our governors, or rulers. Demand it. Come together, even as a family. Let's say you have maybe you don't go to church or whatever. You have a device. Yeah, you have a family. All of you as a family. Say, hey, we were watching this video and they suggested, hey, to make demands what we want for this election, because I've learned that we are the pivotal for every election in America. So these are our demands, and make demands upon them. If you're not heard, you're not heard. If you don't speak up, you won't be heard. So start speaking out. And it's free. YouTube is free. You could get your video, post a video, and as a family, say, this is what I desire for our community in America. And share it. Share it with your friends and family members. Share it with your politicians. Say, I demand this for this election year. You want my vote? You better start with the reparations package. The Platinum Plan should include your reparations package. Reparations, your land, to help you rebuild the infrastructure of your education. Sounds beautifully, sis. Check out this video here. Okay. Yeah, put down the information of the video so I can look at it. Yeah, you have to start making demands. Make the demands. You are a powerful force. Why can't you use your own power? Did you know your labor is your power? Your labor is yours, but you let everybody steal your labor. And it's being stolen because you don't benefit, so your labor is being stolen. Take back your labor. Demand it. Demand it. They don't like us, or even in the West Indies. I lived in the West Indies. And they don't like Black America. They love Black music. They don't love us in Hawaii. They love our music. They love the dancing, but they don't want you there making money. They don't want you there. Start demanding. Yeah, you better listen, because it's gonna take away. They're gonna take away from your community, and you're gonna wonder what happened. What happened, folks? Well, this is what's happening. They're destroying you from the inside out. That is what's happening to you, Black America, worldwide. No one wants to be Black anymore. Everybody wants to be some other race. some other nationality, and this is a way how they destroy you from the inside out. If you belong to a political party, demand that they make changes in your community. Demand that they stop harassing you on the street and arresting you for false reasons. Have your own police force. Have your own police force. If you really are afraid of the police, have your own police force. And don't use outsiders. That's another thing. You have this BLM and Antifa, and they're being used. These are not people that fully represent you. They don't represent you. Antifa is communism, socialism, Marxism, Leninists. BLM is a lesbian organization that's used to destroy you, to keep the family separate. Now, again, if you are a lesbian or homosexual, that is your business. But as an organization that's supposed to represent you, they're not representing the black family. They're representing separatism and the dominance over the black male to emasculate him so he cannot rule the home and the family respectfully. Okay, the black male is not to be aggressive against his woman. He is to work in partnership to his woman, and that's what's lacking. And it's being done by design. See through the Black Lives Matter organization. Yes, Black Lives Matter, but Black Lives Matter organization is another entity and is a distractant and an evil for the black community as a whole. They are used as a catalyst for destruction in the black community. See through their deceit. Yeah, you better start demanding your land. Um, uh, Also demand about education. I think this is also very important because when I was growing up, we had black doctors, black American doctors. Okay, I had a black dentist doctor. Yep, I had a black baby doctor. When I was a little kid, my doctor was black. Was a black man. You don't see that in New York City. New York City, the Democrats Party, what they're doing is again, this is not an anti-immigration, okay, rant, but it's just to let you know the tricks that's the Democrats and I think the Republicans are behind. The Republicans allow it, but what's going on? They are piping in immigrants from other parts of the Americas and the world to disarm you, to make your numbers small and insignificant, and then they take the political power away from you. Yes, yes. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, we have to be above all this. Yeah. You need to educate. See, if you look at the people who are getting into the different colleges and what they're majoring in, see, they don't have black Americans. They might get an immigrant, a black immigrant, in some of these higher positions, but local black people, they're not putting us in these occupations. Um, Science, medicine, science, engineering. They're getting other minority groups to fill that spot. They want you to be the bully police, what do you call it, the security guard, and bully people. Just look, okay? They're not encouraging you to become doctors and medicine. They're not here. I asked to get a black doctor once, and the black woman that's telling me this is saying, well, some people don't identify with that. Well, I'm saying to myself when she said that, well, I'm only addressing those who do identify as such. Okay, so they're implanting black people and encourage them not to even service themselves. That's what's happening in the medical field and the mental health field. They don't want black mental health providers. They're getting all these other. See, that's how they're winning the war against Black America. They say, "Oh, we have minorities. Oh, they're people of color." No, I didn't ask for a person of color. I asked for a black person. Okay, that's who I asked for. They only practice medicine. They really don't help anything but economic problem. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's devised to um, keep you feeling underprivileged, underserviced. They're underservicing you, and they don't like Black Americans. These new people that they bringing in, who are your new doctors, your new mental health providers, and you know what else? They're being flooded in with homosexuals. So even if you do get a black person, they're recruiting homosexuals. Now, if you're a homosexual, that is your business. But if most of us in the black community are straight people slash heterosexuals, why aren't they having heterosexual practitioners to service these heterosexual black people? It's because they have an agenda. It is the gay agenda in the big cities to confuse black America, to make the men think they're women and women think they're men. I'd rather go to the third world doctor. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You'd rather go to a third world doctor because they seem to have more sense. That we're losing sense. I had a doctor um, who was trying to encourage me to use more honest. Yeah, they're not honest. Yeah, I had a doctor who was trying to encourage me to use. Yeah, yeah, I'm back on. Yeah. Am I on now? Okay, I think I'm on rolling now. Yeah, I just saw your message. Yeah, I accidentally pressed on the button by mistake. Yeah, but I had this black doctor. I mean, I'm sorry. I had a doctor. It was a new doctor. And they were telling me about this product. And so I said, well, I thought things with estrogen in it is cancer causing for women. Oh, that's a myth. Well, lo and behold, I went to a family member that month. It was shortly after that conversation with that so called doctor. And the product, it may not have been the same exact, the same brand, but it was the same type of product that was being advertised in a commercial. And guess what? They said that it can cause cancer. See that? And they know that. And so they're not allowing you to use common sense. For the pharmaceutical pockets, of course, yeah, I bet they yeah, yeah, they're getting a cut. And of course, I didn't say that you just want to get a cut, but I don't want to use that facility anymore. Yeah, I also went to another facility quite a while ago. It's 11 years ago, but it seems like just yesterday. Again, it was a minority person. Yeah, the first person was a minority. And then this other doctor, a minority from another country. And they seemed really nice. I like them. But guess what? It was for a GYN problem. I had a fibroid. And she said, we really, are encouraging with the people come here. We don't want to do harsh treatments. We want to, want the woman to maintain everything. And then she left the room, and then when she came back, her whole story changed. She said, yeah, let's just take out the uterus, And yeah, we take out your ovaries too and your cervix. And I said, I don't want that. She said, well, you're not going to need your ovaries because you're going to be menopausal in 1 or 2 years. So we can just take it all out. Yeah, this is what she's telling me. I had healthy ovaries, and she said, let's take them out. Let's take, and the fiber was just something on the outside of the uterus. She said, let's just take the whole uterus out and the cervix, everything. Yeah. Fuck her. Excuse my French. Yeah, yeah, they even use a minority doctors from Latin America. And I liked her. She seemed like a nice lady. Yeah, yeah. They are encouraging black people who have healthy ovaries to remove them. No, she was, yeah, she was, oh, the person in the VA you were saying? Or the person being Latin from, yeah, okay, okay. Well, either way, that's what happened. Yeah, they don't like you. Yeah, hell, yeah, that's right. Hell no. Yeah, yeah, Virginia or the VA office. Okay. I guess the VA, meaning not Virginia, but the VA. Okay. Yeah. So they're using minorities, so-called minorities. Okay, great. Yeah, I just wanted to really clarify. Yeah, the VA. I thought that's what you meant. Yeah, they don't like black women at the VA office. They don't like it, even though now Trump has this thing for the veteran that if you get mistreated, that they get fired. The practitioner. I don't. They cover up, and I'm afraid that if I speak out, see, I've spoken out in the past. Yeah, this isn't new for me. I spoke out and I wrote letters to the director or the woman, no, the woman's coordinator at the VA hospital in New York City. Yeah, I've asked for a yeah, I have. I've asked for a black doctor, and they don't want to service me. I kid you not. The one here in New York City, uh, it's like the blacks here don't like black people. They don't like their own, and they don't want to service their own. Latin Americans service their own. Yeah, that is my experience. That is my personal experience. I asked to talk to a mental health provider, a black person, twice. And it was both of those times that I had gotten opposition, and I got opposition from black women. I kid you not. And I feel that if I expose them and go to the so-called woman's coordinator, and the coordinator is not someone from my community, yeah, yeah, I go to the VA here. I stopped going. I mean, I don't go as often now because I don't trust them. I mean, I'll go get my eyes checked, but even that, it's a lot of corruption in the VA office, VA hospital in New York City. And oh, I couldn't read that fast enough. Yeah, it's very spooky at times. Sometimes it could be okay. It looks like they're getting their act together, but it's an undercurrent, and you have misinformation, and you don't have black OBGYN doctors. You have black nurses, people who take your blood. They have all that, but black doctors, no. Yeah, it sucks. The VA office in New York City, uh, most of the blacks that go to the when I went, to the OBGYN of the VA hospital in New York City. There were black practitioners, like nurses there. They were there, but no black doctors. No black doctors. And most of the people, they were all black, but all the patients were black. How is that all of these people are black, the patients, but not have any black doctors working there? And there was no female. When I went, it was just a white male there. No females. And so on a different day, it would be a female, but there was no black female doctor. Okay? Why is that? And again, this is not an anti-foreign. I've always been around people outside of my community, so-called minorities from other communities, always. And these were the people that I dealt with. Very, very few blacks. I mean, that were in my immediate circle. But as time got on, that the newer immigrants were being more and more hired and less of me represented. And they seem to fear you. And so I don't know what they're saying about black veterans. And especially there at that VA office, it's not that many black women there. Black veterans, black female veterans, I meant to say. There are a lot of black male veterans. They are the dominant group at the VA office in the city. Very few black women veterans. So what is that they have against me? Or I'm very polite. I I don't know what it is. I say understand because you overstand, not understand already. Yeah. Yeah, I need to understand. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of those things. So I think, in short, with all this, that I mean, I know I kind of got off the topic, but it's all related. That whether you're a veteran or not, you're not being represented, you're being overlooked. They're causing chaos for you to hate yourself, and we're killing ourselves in our community. So we need to stop our negative behavior. Yeah, it's all connected. We need to stop our negative behavior. Take a deep breath and say enough is enough, and that prosperity is mine, love is mine, health is mine. Start saying these as a mantra, like to overcome, to start feeling good about yourself. That's why I've been sharing my videos of my going out to the park, because it's very therapeutic and I want to share beauty with you. Yeah, be with your loved ones. Yes. Yes, for a day, for a living. Yeah. Yeah, go out there. Hold hands with your partner, your friend. Have and just enjoy you, and start speaking out and say enough is enough. Stop the violence. We can do it. Yeah. Nature is beautiful, illuminating. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like saying, stop going to your churches, because they're part of the problem. I'm going to just say it. We go to church and waste our money. We go to church and waste our money. We're entertained for a few minutes. The black churches, I used to go to all the black churches in the city, New York City. Yeah, we had the best singing, best performances, in my opinion. But they used to distract you, and they used to extract your money. So they distract you with the singing, and then they extract you with your money. There is no self-affirmation in church. Yeah, there's no, yeah. It's the church is about saying you sin, you're bad, you're bad, you're bad. No, 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 no. We are spirit beings. We are spirit beings having a human existence. I am beauty. I am strength. I love my family. I love humanity. I love truth. If your church isn't saying that, get out. Yeah, we need to research how to open our own community. Yeah, yeah. Your church isn't serving you, and you know it. But a lot of you go to church because you want to show off what clothes you're wearing. You're more clothes oriented. You get your hair done, you get the clothes and nails done, and you want everybody to see you. Rather than going to church and have everybody see you, go to a nice park, bring your lunch, bring your kids, and do that. Be close to nature. Don't be in some closed in space. Yes, Michael, we don't need permission for us at this point. Yeah, we don't need it. We don't need the church. The church needs us. I'm going to repeat that. We don't need church. The church needs us. The church needs us. So if the church needs us, they better cater to us and help us with the community, with educating ourselves. They're doing a damn thing. Yeah, damn right. Yeah. Yeah, they're not going to do it. Because they're not there to help us, but to sap your energy. Boycott the church. I'm going to just say it. Boycott the churches. Boycott it. Boycott it by not showing up and pay yourself first. My father. My father was a poor boy growing up, and he used to brag about how poor he was and how it was about seven of them or six of them in the house sharing one can of tuna fish, and how hungry he was. Yeah. Yeah, thank you about that. They saying that Jesus is white and everything. Yeah. So they take your money. And oh yeah, well, I say my father. My father said you got to pay yourself first. So he started as a poor boy. And then he learned how to think, and he made himself rich. His 9 to 5 job, that's not where he got his money from. He got his money from investments. That's how he made his money, through investment. And he said to me, he was very practical. I didn't get along with him, but he was a very brilliant guy. I have to give him that credit. He was brilliant. But well, either way, he said pay yourself first. And and that's a principle. The money you make should go to you first. But you manage your money. And it is to work for you. The church isn't working for you. Yeah. Yeah. Pay yourself first and improve. Use the money that you would have used for your church to educate yourself, to get books, to teach you a skill. Maybe you can get books on gardening and farming. Maybe you can do things like that. Gardening, farming. Learn how to sew, learn how to cook. You had all the skills in the Americas. Black people did all the work. So you knew how to make things. You were the blacksmith. You were the farmer. You made the tools. You made the barrels, the containers. You made the ships. You did it all. And the Republican and the Democrats, you both used and exploited your labor, and you exploited it. Yeah. So re-educate yourself. Yeah, what I was going to say, that both parties exploited your labor, and they forced you to live in ghettos. and and then they started calling you a consumer. You were then called a consumer, like you're some a ravished animal. You did all the work for hundreds of years. Now they just gonna say to you, "Oh, you're just a consumer." Both of them said that about us. Both political parties, Democrats and Republicans. Just because Republicans might have a different persona doesn't mean that they love you. They proved that they didn't love you enough because they um, abandoned you to the devices of the Democrat Party. They didn't come and rescue you. They didn't come and give you weapons to fight off the Democrats when they were lynching you. They abandoned you, and then when you came up north, they abandoned you to the ghetto and they promoted segregation. Or I should say, at least socially segregated your community. So here you help them, and then they pay you back with segregating and um, the media depicting you in a negative way. We helped them, but they didn't really help us. So demand from, again, a repeat really quickly before I go. Demand that they do certain things, and each family is unique. So make your demands, do a video on YouTube and demand that from now you're going to have demands on the government what you want done. Form your own political party. Form your own. Reparations, and that they have to give you your land that you were promised as a, what do you call it, the platinum package plan, right? Yes. Yes, start doing it. And also go out with your loved one and say words of love and encouragement. Hold hands and get reconnected and go out in nature. That's what you do this Sunday. Go out in nature, take in some deep air. Do that and take care of your health. And demand even from your neighborhood no more of that sloppy food that they have in our black community. Kick them out. Kick them out. Or, let me rephrase that. Don't patron them anymore. Don't go to them. And if they ask you why you're not coming, say, we're not going to eat slop anymore. We're not going to eat slop anymore. We're making you rich and it's affecting our health. We're not going to eat slop anymore. Take it out of our community. You can do it. You are the power. Believe it. Embrace it. So with that last note, I thank you. I thank you all for listening. I know I've been on for a while. I didn't expect me to be on this long, but yes, expect the best and be your best. Okay? This is Spirit Journey signing off. I'm going to get ready and I'm going to enjoy my day with my little dogs in the park or somewhere. Okay? Be good to yourself. Love yourself and say, I love you in the mirror. Love your reflection. Okay? Bye bye, guys.